challenges that you have to tackle when you're developing. Then when you come to Flutter now, there is fast development. You just Flutter is so simple that I can say, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't put in the effort. Though it is simple, it is portable, so you have to actually, when you're working, it might not be like how you're using your Java to develop in Android Studio. Yeah. Then so what are the features of Flutter? Basically, it is modern and reactive framework. Then uses the Dart programming, as I've been mentioning, which is very simple and easy to learn. Then fast development and beautiful interfaces and high performance applications. So those are literally the features of Flutter. The keynote here is it uses the Dart language, which is, as I said, very simple to learn. So I think we have been discussing the advantages of Flutter. But what would be the disadvantages of Flutter? Because we all know that something with an advantage has a disadvantage. Maybe apart from beautiful ladies, I don't know if they have disadvantages. Ivan, you can guide me through that. Anyway, so basically Flutter combines native performance and quality with high velocity development and multi-platform reach. So basically the app that you develop can run on either of the devices. But then personally, from my personal experiences using Flutter, I think one of the challenges is it uses Dart, which is not so new, not so much of a new thing to the programming, but people have to learn basically another language to start developing in Flutter. So I think that would be one of the advantages that I've found with maybe people that are beginning to get into Flutter. Then maybe the other disadvantage is, so Flutter, I mean, when you're developing in, let's say, Java, and you're using, you try to create an Android app using Java. So the people that have tried out and those that haven't tried it out before, you get to find you separate the logic from the UI. So basically, you have your XML codes that you're writing to get the UI and then the logic in the Java side of it. But then now with Flutter, the interfaces and the logic are basically intermixed. That is a disadvantage that I found with it. So to overcome this, you could use something sort of smart coding. That's how people might call it, being smart when you're coding, so that you do not get things mixed up. Yeah. So these are still the features of Flutter. That is, okay, Gloria says, what is Dart programming? So basically, Dart is a language. The way you see Java, the way you see C, and I'm a big fan of C, by the way. So if there is anything out there that requires C, please hit me up. And Python.
Me too.
You're also a fan of C?
Also a fan of C and Python.
Ah, okay. We show us one of your projects when it's done, when we are done with the lecture.
Don't take the shine alone.
I shouldn't take the money alone. Ugandans with corruption, banagi. But anyway, to answer the question that was in the chat, so what is Dart programming? So what is Dart programming? That is, so the way you see other programming languages, that is C, Python, and all. So that is also a programming language. yeah, that you use to create applications in Flutter. The way you use Java to create applications that run on Android. So it's the same thing that you do here, creating applications that are going to run on both devices. So that is basically a tool, a language that is used in Flutter. I don't know if that answers your question. Kateke, Gloria, yeah, thank you. So Bruno Hector, I don't know how they read that name, Hector or Hectre, I don't know. Is it possible to use a method channel when adding native functionality for desktop apps like that in Java and Swift? I think we should discuss this in the next lecture, the next Friday, because basically what we had here was to talk about, it's an introduction bit of it. And the people that are in here shouldn't scared not to come the next time. So I don't know if Bruno, you could allow me and we proceed next Friday, or I answer it. Just type it into the comment section. I mean, chat section. Okay, so basically these are still the features, high velocity development. That is basically you get to develop real fast. Then a flexible toolkit, the native iOS and Android app basically runs on two. So we shall just go through each one of them. So this is basically for the high velocity development, in that we have, you can paint your app to life within no minutes. So no time. So basically, if you're now a mobile app developer and a client comes to you, there's no excuse of saying no, I cannot, or maybe I can't, or something like that. No excuses, because Flutter gives you like tools right away. So it is very, very easy to get started with developing and handing in to the client. The other one was flexibility and control of the beautiful UI. So basically, you control every pixel on your screen. So we shall see the widgets of Flutter. That is, it has quite a number of widgets. The column. So we shall see them as in the next session, Friday. But one thing that you have to be sure of is it literally gives you control over your UI. So as I had said, no excuses when a client comes to you. It is more so in like a minute and you're done with the application. And you get your, I mean, I don't know if they give money or something. You'll be working for heaven, as we all do. So the other thing is it running on both, having a single code base and running on both iOS and Android. I think I've been saying this since the start of the session. That is actually one of the reasons why we chose Flutter instead of going for Android, because we feel this could be better suited than learning Android alone. Because with this, you're going to develop an app that is going to run here and there, but Android, then you find in the future you might actually get to come into Flutter. So yeah, that's the reason why we chose to do Flutter series as a group at university. So we can't forget to mention the people that actually use Flutter to build their applications. The companies around the world that actually use Flutter. So we have Google, Capital One, Square, Alibaba. So there are quite a lot. And not to forget, also StackIt uses Flutter. The application was built on Flutter. So you can see there are quite a lot of good companies that use Flutter. And if you do not know StackIt is a delivery company that gets to deliver any food for you from any restaurant. So please, they're literally built on Flutter, like a sneak peek of them. So this is Alibaba, then Google AdWords, then Binance and Hamilton Musical. So these are the apps that are built on the Flutter framework. And one thing you can see about all of them is that the UI is very nice, very nice. You can't compare it to anything. It's so nice. Okay, so when you're having your tools, you might get to think, what does Flutter work with? Or maybe, if I'm sorry, let me first read this. I think JB Tech UG came in a little bit late. So I will request a pardon for this big man. So he's asking, does it require another added programming language or it is independent? Basically, Flutter is based on that. That is a programming language. It is not so much different from the other programming languages that you've been working with. We shall see it. It's not so much different from the Javas and all that you've been working with. So it's quite more or less like the other programming languages. So basically use the Dart to write your code in Flutter. Then what softwares does someone need to get started? So basically Flutter, you can run it using Android Studio and VS Code. I mentioned VS Code because personally it is what I like. I do not know what other people like. So what is on screen is, so there is VS Code, Android Studio. So basically in that you can run your Flutter applications. We shall do, if at all you have your PC there, after these slides, we shall do quite some session on how to install Flutter and get it running onto your PC. Yes, I don't know if at all I've answered you, JB Tech UG. As he's typing, if yes or no. So Flutter works with popular tools and platforms. JB, you have something to say?
No, I'm saying that you've answered me.
I've answered you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then we shall take a beer one day. So basically, Flutter works with popular tools and platforms. That is Android Studio. Ivan, what's up? You have something to say?
I had the talk of beer.
Banang. So apparently you hadn't talked in the whole session and you're talking after someone mentioning beer. Anyway, so Flutter works with these platforms and tools, Android Studio, then Xcode, VS Code, Firebase, all of them. So you can see what is on the screen. If there is any question, please keep typing it in the chat section and I will gladly answer it. Oh yeah, we cannot fail to mention about the community of Flutter developers. It is really a good thing that you should look out to when you go and use Flutter. So it has quite a lot of community around. So you should really, really try it out. People, if you run into something and you fail to crack your head right, then the community is there to guide you through it. Maybe the problem that you're working on might have been faced by someone else in the other part of the world. The other part of the world, I mean, in Katete. Yeah, so someone could help you out. So the 4 ways, basically, why you should use Flutter. I think some people might be in the meeting and they're like, why in the world should I use Flutter? Like, I'm really, really stuck on my Java and, I'm so good at it. So why should I really use Flutter today? So basically, you start a new app from scratch. That is basically building your idea in Flutter and reach both iOS and Android at the same time. So when you're using your Java, you might not reach the iOS users. People like us that own iPhones might not get access to your to your app if at all you use Java and you don't get to develop another application using Swift. So iPhone users here, Halima is an iPhone user. Oh, by the way, Halima is so rich at the moment. So Ivan, I'm telling you, if at all you can, there's a person we can steal. Halima is a rich woman in here.
Still, or it's okay. We shall share contacts afterwards.
I do not know how you interpret your words. So apparently, Halima just muted to laugh. Oh my God.
Daniel, what's your problem?
This is a session where we're supposed to talk. I told you not to let me overtalk, man. So there are 4 ways to use Flutter today. I will actually go back to one of the reasons why we're actually studying. So we are studying for the solution challenge. Basically, so basically we learn skills so that these skills can actually help us solve people's problems. I think that is the best thing about tech. You know, waking up every other day and you find that you can use what you know in your head to solve someone's problem at the other end of the world. That is maybe where Ivan comes from. So the whole point why we are studying Flutter is would actually be glad to see the people that are in here use the skills that they have learned to work on 2 projects and design projects that are based on Flutter, and help someone out in the community. It might be making an app for the single men around. It might be getting an app for fetching water from anywhere. Yeah, so basically. So you prototype your idea, so you can use Flutter to test out an app concept or idea in record time. As I had said or mentioned before, Flutter is so fast when you're using it. Then you bring your app to the other platform. You have already, when you have an iOS or Android app, use Flutter to build the other platform. Combine code bases, then you have proven your Flutter app. And the other point is using Flutter as part of your app. So basically, you're having your Android app, and maybe you want to have a nice look at Flutter maps that might be better than how you would implement maps in Android. So Flutter could come in to help you out. This guy is talking about water, man. Ivan. So basically, key component of the Google community family. So Flutter offers a portable, high-quality UI toolkit and a fast, expressive way to build native app UIs. Yeah, and as I'd said before, when a client comes to you, please do not run away from them because you can't develop an application. Yet Flutter is just here. You run away from a client, yet money is just there looking at you. So yeah, I think that is it for the day. Let me just put this thing of thank you. But before we say thank you to everyone here, let me see what time is it. What time is it? Just 30 minutes. So yeah, we shall go through the processes of installing Flutter on our machine. So if you have your machine with you, please type in a yes in the chat box. If you do not, type in a no. Please. So can everyone see my screen? JB Tech, can you see the screen?
Yeah, I'm seeing the screen. We have some window that is open of Flutter.
Very good. So one thing that I'm very sure about, okay, this is a way to install Flutter on our machines. And before we go to Flutter, so there are two things that we might need. So that is basically downloading Android Studio. We shall be, for the first session, for the first applications, we shall run Flutter with Android Studio. Then the other sessions, we shall use VS Code. Because I've checked out the internet and quite a number of people are using VS Code to run Flutter. So we shall use VS Code in the other session, but for the first application that we shall be doing, we shall use Android Studio. Then the other ones that are coming, we shall use VS Code. We have quite hands-on with how every other thing works. Yeah, so we shall need Android Studio basically to run our applications. And gladly enough, I have this on my machine. So do we have it? If we do not have it, please go at just put download Android Studio, and you should get a page like this, and you can download it. Ivan, the guy of C, I doubt you have Android Studio, do you?
No, I do not have Android Studio. I am, however, going to download it as soon as possible.
Are you in a place of good network? You sound to be in a village.
I am in the city, my friend. I'm in Mbara. Mbara is a city.
It's a village. Please, it's a village.
Let's not forget you're in a refugee camp.
Okay, let's continue. This guy is not having any point. So let's continue. Please, if you can, get... So I want to be sure, how many of us have Android Studio working on our machines? Or even if it is not working, those that have it installed. Okay, our lead says she does. So yeah, we have Atemi David. Okay. So David also has it. So, and okay, I think some people are not good at typing. So we shall just assume that they have it. If maybe you're out there and you don't have Android Studio, please go on to the link and download Android Studio. So David says he uses it for native Android development. Yeah, which is okay. We shall get a way through that. So the other thing that we shall need before we get Flutter running on our machines is Git. So Git, as people call it, is a version control system. This might sound a little bit new to some of us here that haven't been into the computing world. I mean people like Ivan that have been using C and haven't been pushing their code to anywhere. So basically, Git is a version control system, and you should, if you can, just download it on your machine, walk through the steps of downloading it, and use Windows. I don't know, but I'm quite sure so many of us here do not have MacBooks. Might all be running on Windows. So please get onto the Windows section and we could get Git running on our machines. Is that okay? Or we walk through running Git? Okay, I think silence means yes. I don't know. So I think we can all get
Could,
running on our
um,
machines.
could we have someone send us the setup or on maybe an email address or send us a link with the setup on somewhere? Because apparently I cannot get it from Google Chrome. On
Or
the
you have
website.
finally accepted that your internet is very poor.
Yes. In Uganda, internet is generally poor.
It's very nice that you accept defeats, just like Arsenal fans. Yeah, so basically, you can get into just, okay, I'll try and see if at all I can send the setup. Though internet would be, the fact is in this information tech system, in this digital economy, internet is no longer a need, but it is a necessity. So instead of getting your monies and taking women out, please, at least buy some internet. It's a joke, eh? No feelings. So, guys, so we install Git and Android Studio. Then after that, now we can go on to having Flutter onto our machines. So I'm going to walk you through the process of having Flutter onto the machine. That is, I'm assuming we have Android Studio and Git onto our machines. Is that okay? Guys, is it fine if we proceed with having Flutter onto our machine? Winnie Nansozi, what do you say about it? Winnie? How about Samuel? Do you have any about the whole process, or you're fine with it? Samuel?
For installing Git,
Pardon?
is that installing Git?
Yeah, installing Git.
Yeah, I already have a GitHub account and Git installed.
Okay, that is nice. So someone is asking, what is the difference between GitHub and Git? So basically, the difference between GitHub and Git is that Git is a version control system. Git is a version control system that lets you manage and basically keep track of your source code. So you find when you're having your code, maybe you might not remember the change that you made at this particular time or that particular time. So you find when you're managing your code, controlling it, if I make any change, so Git keeps tracking that. If I make any change, so it tells you you've made this change, you can go back and see the changes that you've made. Or maybe you find there is a time when you made changes to your code and you want to go back to so you made changes to your code, and then maybe later on you'll be like, this was actually a mistake. The changes that I made were a mistake. So you want to go back to actually the actual code that you started with. So that's how Git comes in and helps you out. Then basically GitHub, as Samuel had said, he has a GitHub account and has Git installed on his machine. So GitHub account is basically a cloud-based hosting services that lets you manage with other GitHub repos. So you find maybe we are working on a team, and I'm in Kampala, and Ivan is in the village in Bara, and you find we cannot share the same computer, though we could share. We could share the. We are working on the same team. Is in the village. I'm in Kampala, the town. So what happens is this guy is going to have a repo on GitHub. Then we can exchange all the information and all from the code, from GitHub. I don't know if that is clear to you, Madam, that asked. Apparently my screen ain't allowing to share. I don't know why. Let me do it again. So I'm going to use someone else's screen to actually get to see the whole process, because it is installed on my machine. So I'm going to use someone else's machine to show how the process is. Yeah, so basically, as I'd said, we come and so there were two options. The first was downloading the zipped file, and the second option was basically to clone it from the GitHub repo. So from this machine, we shall, because I do think the downloading of more complicated compared to the one of, okay, the old simple. So let me just talk you through this one of getting the repo instead. Yeah, so basically what I have done here is create this source folder. I think you can see it, that source folder. So just go into your C drive and create a folder and call it SRS. Then after that, I don't know if you could actually see the font onto the machine. So after that, let me first increase the font. I guess that is a little bit bolder than it was. So we shall navigate to to our source folder that we created. So I'll just move out of these folders and I'll do a CD into that same folder. So CD basically means change directory. Yeah, so when I come into the folder, I'll come in and paste in the other code that was there from the installation process that I showed you. So when I pasted in, see it is actually now downloading it from the repo. and we can wait for it to end. Ivan had said Uganda network, so let's wait for a bit of a minute. The other point was to download the folder, and this is another option. I think I should take you through also the option of downloading the zipped file. So as that is processing, you could download the zipped file. Then after downloading it, we shall unzip it and head on with installing it. I do hope you guys are following though. So this is going to take quite some time. Yes, so it's going to take quite some time. Though in the meantime, we can be talking about what you guys think about the whole thing, about the session and everything, as we wait for this thing to install. It's actually quite huge. Ivan, are you following the process, or you got lost somewhere?
I am following the process. I am.
And are you trying to do anything, or you're just seeing and thinking you do it later?
Honestly speaking, I think I'll do it later. Uh, I told you I failed to find the setup, and yeah, I think
You
I'll
failed,
do it.
you failed to find what?
I'll reach out to you and you help me set it up, or you could delegate one of the members here to help me. A member of your choice.
Okay.